This video is not very car related. I don't know if I ever showed this thing on camera, but I've been using this air compressor for a while now. The McGraw 21-gallon air compressor from Harbor Freight. I've been using that for like a few years now before I got the plasma cutter. I was using it on my old plasma cutter, that thing, and it's broken now. I gotta fix it. But yeah, ever since I got this, I've been wanting drier air, and this thing's not very good at making dry air because it doesn't have any type of heat sink or anything back here. I gotta there's like some fins here, but that's all you get. So I wanted to paint with this thing and get some more drier air. So I got this. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. I got this tube and fin transmission cooler from Doral, or whatever you call it, from Amazon. I bought it from them. It was about like just over $80, and I got the wrong one. I meant to get the 8AN one, which is the bigger one. They're similar price, but the 8AN has a bigger fitting and bigger tubes, I think, and this one's smaller, which is fine. It's still got somewhat around 3/8 inside diameter tubing, which is, I think, slightly bigger than the factory tube. I might still have it around here, I don't know. Yeah, I used this thing. It's a brake line I got from AutoZone, and I bent it up. These are the factory connectors that went into the compressor on the back there from earlier, and then right here it connects to the tank. There's a rubber hose there now. I put in a rubber hose. You can see, so I routed this in between the compressor and the tank. That's where the factory one went. It was a hard line that went straight into the tank, and it got hot. So right now, I just took that out. Where'd it go? I just took that out, and I put a PTFE hose with an NPT fitting in there, and then I have a 6AN. Oh, that's still hot. I have a 6AN NPT to a 3/8, or 6AN to a 3/8 NPT on this side, and then over here it's just it's still a 3/8 NPT. So, oh, there we go. Excuse the mess. Let's see. So I made this bracket here, and this is what I wanted to show off. I didn't want to mount this thing on a wall, and my compressor doesn't have one of those, the belt drives, because it's electric. It doesn't have not electric, it's a oilless, I don't know. It doesn't have the belts that drive the fan and the pump. So a lot of people they have like a little cage on there, and a lot of people wire tie these to that cage. I don't have one of those, and I don't want to put this on the wall in case I need to move this around. So I made yeah, you guys can't even, it's so cool you can't even see it. Here's a 3D design I made of it, and I cut it out with that thing. Not my truck, the plasma table. I cut it out into different pieces. I'm gonna upload it onto the Langmuir Systems, their website for file sharing, FireShare. I'm gonna upload it on there. I gotta do some more updates. I'm gonna do some keyways in here so it all connect together. The one I cut out doesn't have that, so I literally just eyeballed everything and welded it up. Once I got keyways in them, whoever decides to make this, they'll be it'll be easier to connect together. See if it loads. This computer is really slow. There we go. So that's how all the pieces look. And then I was going to, so this is up to you guys or whoever decides to get this. You guys can just connect, say like this thing, move, you can just connect this. Oh. Hold on, there we go. You can just move this over here and then connect it as if you guys had like a tube bender, or not a tube bender, just some to bend sheet metal with. You can just connect that there and it'll be a lot easier because you won't have to weld that at all. It'll just be there, boom, done. And then this side goes over here, and then yeah, you know. So there's that. There's plenty of ways of doing it. Right now it's at 50 degrees or 90 degrees. It's going straight up. And I kind of made a mistake because you're supposed to tilt this one. You don't really want it 90 degrees because it's got 2 layers, and the tubes is going from here to here, back down, and then it goes back up to that backside one. So no matter which way you have it flipped, it's always going to go back up into the second one, and then it goes down on this one. So this is what I'm worried about now. It's all the water's going to be in here, and then that might cause it to get trapped in these tubes. But most of them is going down, and then all the ones in the middle are pretty much level. So yeah, that's kind of the only problem right now. I'd have to bend it. I'd have to bend this whole thing this way a little bit, so this is still going to be going down, and these tubes right here is going to be somewhat level. So it'll be level, and then right here it's just going to be going down. So if you think of water going in here, it's going to travel all the way down to this, and then it'll go from here into this thing. And this is from Harbor Freight. The I forgot what it's called. It's like a Merlin air filter regulator. I had a regulator on it. It's right there. Alright, so this is the regulator for it. I had to take this out because I was using these hoses I'm using on it is a 3/8 NPT, and the outlet on this is a 1/4 inch NPT. So, or yeah, it is a 1/4 inch NPT. So kind of weird because the inlet for this is actually like a 1/2 inch NPT, and then it has a reducer that's going into a 3/8, and then the 3/8 fits on that one. And then the exit right here is also 3/8. But then once it goes into this regulator, this is the out, this is also the out, and they're both 1/4 inch. So I couldn't really use that. I mean, I could if I used a reducer, but I didn't want to. So it doesn't really matter. I don't need it to do any regulating anyway, because I have since it's between the tank and the pump and the tank regulator serves fine. Yeah, this is also not where I'm going to put this. I built a room in the back, small room for this to sit, and then I have a propane tank back there as an expansion tank. And I should probably move this too. I was going to keep this out here so I can drain it without having to go around the garage and drain it from down here, from the tank and stuff. So, or if I had this just hooked up to here. It's also pretty heavy, or it's got some weight to it, so I didn't want it bending this. So I put it here. My outlet's like right there, directly under this. I didn't even think about that. I just decided I was gonna put it right there. So I'm gonna move this table that way, hook this up to this stud here, and that'll make it easier for me to empty this, and it's not gonna drop water into the outlet. So yeah, there you guys have it. I did try If you're using one of these compressors, don't go with a hard line because it started leaking right here. The NPT, I know 3/8 NPT fits this, so I'm pretty sure it is a 3/8 NPT going from the compressor to the tank. But the only 3/8, the only things that fit it is the stuff that comes with it. Anything else doesn't screw in, and this doesn't screw into any other NPT either. It only goes in like 2 threads, so it gets real tight. And then you can see I tried flaring this end. This end was already flared. I tried double flaring it, and then I cut it off, and then I flared it again to get it bigger. The problem was I originally had this one on the heat transfer thingy. I had it here because it's a 6AN on both ends. So this one converted it to a 3/8 NPT, and then I was gonna screw this thing back in pretty much, and I used the factory one for this thing. It was like a 10 millimeter, or it's slightly bigger than this tube that I got, and that's probably one of the reasons why it was leaking on me too. But this side wasn't leaking because both ends, the factory connection right there is made for a flare, so it had the compression fitting in there. And yep, there it goes again. I don't know if I can find it anymore. I tossed it somewhere. Factory one had a compression fitting, which these things have a little groove on the inside. Not a groove, but it's got a, I don't know if you can see it right there at the very back part of it. It's got a little chamfer there for the flare to sit in. And problem was, this is the fitting that was leaking. Problem is this fitting that I got to convert it, it's got a bigger hole here, so the entire gotta hold this thing. The entire flare just went straight into it, but it doesn't seal properly because it doesn't have that chamfer there to seal up against the flare. So what ended up happening is, once I tightened up the thing, this thing, which was incredibly hard to get it completely flat, because you'd have to tighten this thing up until it reached the very back to crush that thing, the what is it called, flare. So there was that problem, and then so what it was doing was it was just sliding around like this, so it didn't actually crush anything. So I did fix it now. I used a NPT, not NPT, I'm saying NPT too much. I used a PTFE hose. This one's a steel braided with a nylon or something on the outside. So pretty good. I got it off Amazon. This is the first time I ever used PTFE and AN fittings on anything. So I am planning on using it on the truck for brake lines and stuff, but I guess this is a good practice. So I might make another video on how to do that. I just it's pretty easy. I hooked it up, hopefully it doesn't explode. And yeah, this doesn't leak as of yet. I have this, or all of them. The tank has a check valve, so everything before the tank, eventually the air gets released. So when the compressor runs again, it has to fill all this back up, where before it just had one little tube going straight from here to the tank. So it takes a little longer to fill this up, but it fills it up pretty fast. It takes about like 1 or 2 seconds to fill this entire condenser up, and then these tubes pretty much. The main thing about this video, this bracket, I made it out of, I think 14 gauge, it might be 16, I don't know, I'll check again. I think it's 14. Yeah, it's 75-ish thousandths thick. And then I got these not fins, not trusses, whatever these triangle things would be called. I got these welded in. They're kind of all, it's kind of stitch welded because I didn't want this thing warping, which is why bending it would be better, but I don't have a bender. And I made this slot here for the factory bolts on the tank to screw into. If you have the same one as mine, the 21 gallon 175 psi McGraw air compressor, oilless, oil-free, less maintenance air compressor from Harbor Freight. That one, you can use this bracket down here, but I made this to where you don't have to. So all we got to do is take these things out. Don't really need this here too, but I'll keep it in the file. I'll see if I can upload the whole Fusion file on there. I don't know, I've never uploaded on there before, so I'll see. I have this little bracket here, not bracket, where'd it go? This one. Because I only cut out this part, you can see it's open at the bottom, and that directly went onto the this big piece here, this piece up here, this plate. I just directly welded it onto there. If you were to use this on anything else, or just like as a, you know, it fits the Doral one, so you can literally just screw this to a wall if you wanted to. You can angle it. I have, see if I can, it's over here somewhere. I have that bottom piece, and then I have the I might have deleted it. Oh no, here it is. There we go. So here's this bottom piece, and that kind of prevents the bottom part from flexing, since it's made out of pretty thin stuff. That's how it would look without the bracket going to my air compressor. And then all you would have to do is kind of just either go off of this or anywhere around here besides the middle square. This thing's a cut, that's a cutout for the air to pass through the cooler. And then these holes is pretty much for, I put them there for the wire ties, or you could zip tie them if you wanted. This gets pretty hot, so I didn't want to risk zip ties just melting off, so doesn't need that bottom portion. This, just the top portion, is the bracket part for the compressor, or not the compressor, the heat sink. No, what is it called? The cooler thingy. So there you go.